On a small chain of islands south of Japan, a secret was forged, a way of fighting, without weapons, born from necessity, shaped by history, and destined to spread across the entire world. This was not just a martial art. It was a discipline, a philosophy, and a way of life. This was karate. This is march through history. Karate was born on the islands of Okinawa, a cultural crossroads where Japanese, Chinese, and Southeast Asian influences blended. In the 14th century, Okinawa was part of the Ryukyu Kingdom, a thriving trade hub. Merchants from China brought with them their own fighting styles: Quan Fa, White Crane Kung Fu, and other southern Chinese martial arts. These were studied by Okinawans and gradually merged with their own native hand-to-hand fighting traditions, known as te, meaning simply hand. But in the 1600s, everything changed. The Japanese Satsuma clan invaded Okinawa and banned the carrying of weapons. The Okinawans were defenseless, or so their conquerors thought. In the shadows, a silent evolution began. Farmers and fishermen practiced movements disguised as dances. Everyday tools, nunchaku, sickles, staffs, were trained as weapons, and bare hands were forged into spears, hammers, and knives. This synthesis of indigenous fighting arts and Chinese influence gave birth to the early forms of karate. The word itself, karate, once meant Chinese hand, but was later redefined as empty hand, symbolizing both unarmed combat and the Zen-inspired concept of self-perfection. When karate was introduced to mainland Japan in the early 1900s, it began to change. Schools formed, philosophies diverged, and new masters put their mark on the art. Shotokan karate. The style of Gichin Funakoshi, often called the father of modern karate. Shotokan is instantly recognizable by its long, deep stances and its emphasis on linear, powerful strikes. Every punch is delivered with the hips, every movement with explosive intent. Training focuses on the perfection of basics, kihon, drilled endlessly, kata, practiced with precision, and kumitai, often done in a point-fighting style. Shotokan fighters are known for their sudden blitz attacks, explosive straight punches, and devastating front kicks. In combat sports, this translates into lightning-quick counters and knockouts from range. But critics sometimes argue that Shotokan's focus on distance makes it less practical in close quarters. Goju Ryu Karate. Founded by Chojun Miyagi in Okinawa, Goju Ryu literally means the hard, soft style. It combines hard, linear attacks, punches, kicks, blocks, with soft, circular movements, redirection, and breathing techniques. Kata, like Sanchin, train the body with tension, conditioning, and focused breathing, while others emphasize fluid motion and close-range combat. Goju Ryu practitioners are known for short, powerful strikes, low stances, and techniques designed to work in tight spaces. The system also preserves traditional Chinese influences, including open hand strikes, grabs, and joint locks. Where Shotokan is explosive and long-range, Goju Ryu thrives up close, where the fight is most dangerous. Wado Ryu Karate. The creation of Hironori Otsuka, who was already a master of jujutsu before learning karate. Wado Ryu means the way of harmony, and it lives up to the name. Rather than meeting force with force, Wado Ryu emphasizes evasion, body shifting, and redirection. Instead of blocking a punch head-on, a Wado Ryu practitioner angles their body just enough to avoid the strike while delivering their own counter. It's karate blended with the throws, locks, and evasions of classical jujutsu, making it a highly efficient and smooth style. In combat, it's less about raw power and more about timing, movement, and control. Shito-ryu karate. Developed by Kenwa Mabuni, who studied under both Shorin-ryu and Goju-ryu masters, Shito-ryu is known for its sheer depth. It preserves the largest number of kata of any karate style, serving as a bridge between Okinawan traditions. Its techniques balance the speed and agility of Shorin styles with the power and rootedness of Goju. Shito-ryu schools place heavy emphasis on kata, with practitioners expected to learn dozens throughout their journey. It is sometimes described as the most comprehensive of the styles, though because of this breadth, Shito-ryu can feel overwhelming to beginners. Kyokushin karate. In the mid-20th century, a Korean-born fighter named Maz Oyama unleashed a storm. He founded Kyokushin karate, a style defined by its bare-knuckle battles, brutal conditioning, and full-contact tournaments, where only the strongest survived. Kyokushin was not about scoring points. It was about enduring pain, breaking limits, and proving spirit through combat. Kyokushin practitioners use low kicks, body strikes, and devastating knockouts. The style avoids punches to the head in sparring, but compensates with heavy body blows, knees, and kicks. From Kyokushin came many offshoots: Ashihara karate, Enshin karate, Seido Kaikan, each seeking to refine the full contact formula. Kyokushin also shaped the birth of kickboxing and produced legends in K1 and MMA. Ashihara karate. Founded by Hideyuki Ashihara, one of Oyama's top students, Ashihara karate sought to improve on Kyokushin by emphasizing sabaki, a method of controlling angles and movement. Instead of standing toe-to-toe, Ashihara fighters use circular footwork to step off the line of attack, redirecting an opponent's force and countering with powerful strikes or throws. This made Ashihara one of the most tactically advanced karate styles, blending the raw toughness of Kyokushin with strategy and positioning. Enshin karate. Created by Joko Ninomiya, another Kyokushin veteran, Enshin karate took Ashihara's sabaki concept even further. It became famous for the Sabaki Challenge, a full-contact tournament where fighters showcase the use of angles, sweeps, and counters against resisting opponents. Enshin emphasizes adaptability, teaching practitioners to flow between offense and defense seamlessly, and to use throws and sweeps along with strikes. It is considered one of the most realistic and combat-ready karate systems in existence today. Seido Kaikan karate. Founded by Kazuyoshi Ishii, this style kept Kyokushin's intensity, but modified the rules of fighting. Ishii would go on to create the legendary K1 kickboxing tournaments, where karate fighters tested their techniques against Muay Thai specialists, boxers, and kickboxers from around the globe. Many Kyokushin-trained fighters like Andy Hoog and Francisco Filo became K1 superstars, proving karate's effectiveness on the world stage. Kudo, the evolutionary hybrid. Perhaps the most unique of all offshoots, Kudo was founded by Takashi Azuma, another Kyokushin practitioner. Kudo is full-contact karate adapted for the modern age. It combines striking, throws, and ground fighting. Fighters wear headgear with clear visors and gloves, allowing them to train and compete with headbutts, elbows, knees, grappling, and submissions. Kudo is sometimes called the MMA of karate because it embraces nearly every range of combat while preserving karate's spirit and philosophy. Shorin-ryu karate. While not an offshoot of Kyokushin, it is one of the oldest Okinawan styles. Shorin-ryu emphasizes natural stances, agility, and quick strikes. It preserves many of the traditional Okinawan kata and is considered one of the closest living links to karate's early roots, Uechi-ryu karate. Another traditional Okinawan style, heavily influenced by southern Chinese martial arts. Uechi-ryu is known for its conditioning drills, toughening the body through impact training, and its reliance on open hand strikes, spear hands, and circular blocks. Its kata and training methods place emphasis on internal strength, iron body conditioning, and explosive close-range combat. Today, karate stands on three pillars. Traditional karate preserves the kata, discipline, and philosophy of the old masters. A Shotokan, or Goju-ryu dojo, is as much about shaping character as it is about self-defense. Sport karate dazzles in tournaments and the Olympics. Here, speed, precision, and timing rule. Fighters score points with lightning-fast strikes, but do not follow through to full contact. Full contact. Karate, born from Kyokushin, embraces the fight. No pads, no compromises, just the will to endure and overcome. Three faces of one art. All karate, all part of the same spirit. But karate did not remain Japanese. It traveled. And wherever it went, it adapted. American Kenpo Karate. In the United States, karate inspired a revolution through Ed Parker's American Kenpo. Unlike the rigid kata of Okinawa, Kenpo emphasized rapid-fire combinations, fluid motion, and street practicality. Its philosophy was simple: end a fight in seconds, overwhelm with a barrage of strikes, and adapt to any situation. Kenpo became the voice of Western karate. Fast, creative, and unapologetically street-focused. Bando, the Burmese connection. In Myanmar, the traditional martial art of Bando existed for centuries. Animal-inspired strikes, throws, and locks were already part of the culture. When karate spread into Southeast Asia, it left its mark on Bando. Schools began adopting karate's belt system, uniforms, and structured drills, blending Burmese tradition with Japanese discipline. The result was a martial tapestry, equal parts Southeast Asian ferocity and karate-inspired structure. Pakistani Bushiban. In Pakistan, karate sparked new systems, such as Bushiban, created by Grandmaster Zulfi Ahmed. It began with karate's framework, the gi, the belt system, the discipline, but expanded to include kung fu, taekwondo, kickboxing, and modern self-defense. Bushiban is more than karate. It is a martial ecosystem rooted in tradition but adapted for a modern world. A living proof that karate's legacy can grow in entirely new directions. In Brazil, karate fused with Vale Tudo and capoeira, producing fighters like Lyoto Machida, whose elusive karate stance shocked the MMA world. In Europe, Kyokushin's bare-knuckle tournaments became a proving ground for some of the toughest fighters alive. In Oceania, karate thrived alongside indigenous traditions, producing fierce competitors on the global stage. Everywhere it went, karate adapted. It became not just a Japanese art, but a global language of combat. But the question remains, does karate work in a real fight? History answers for us. Karate was born as self-defense against armed attackers. Its strikes are designed for speed and finality, a single blow to end a confrontation. Yet, as karate spread globally, many schools softened, focusing more on ceremony and tournament rules. Critics said it had lost its edge. But then came the full contact styles. Kyokushin, Enshin, Kudo, and the world was reminded that when trained with realism, karate is as lethal as any art. In self-defense, its emphasis on awareness, decisive action, and explosive strikes makes it highly practical. Against a knife, against multiple attackers, or in a sudden street fight, karate teaches you not to hesitate, to strike with everything in a single breath. Karate didn't just stay in dojos. It stepped onto the world stage and changed combat sports forever. In the 1960s, Japanese karateka faced off against Muay Thai fighters. The brutal exchanges birthed Japanese kickboxing, and later the glory of K1 tournaments. Legends like Andy Hug brought axe kicks and spinning strikes to arenas packed with roaring fans. In MMA, karate has left its mark in unforgettable ways. Lyoto Machida glided across the cage with Shotokan precision, knocking opponents out before they even knew he had moved. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson dazzled fans with sidekicks and blitzing footwork. And Georges St-Pierre, one of the greatest champions of all time, built his foundation in Kyokushin. Even modern hybrid martial arts like Kudo, where fighters wear helmets and combine striking with grappling, are proof of karate's adaptability in real combat. Karate didn't just conquer rings, it conquered hearts. The world fell in love with karate through the silver screen. Bruce Lee's films opened the door, but it was the Karate Kid that made the art a household name. The philosophy of Mr. Miyagi, balance, patience, discipline, touched millions. Today, Cobra Kai carries that legacy to a new generation. Hollywood stars like Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Dolph Lundgren all cut their teeth in karate before becoming action icons. And in video games, karate's image lives on. Ryu from Street Fighter, Martial Law from Tekken, Makoto from Street Fighter III, the crisp white GI, the sharp Ki, it became the language of martial arts and pop culture. Karate is more than strikes and kicks. It is a journey. The colored belt system, now famous worldwide, tells the story of that journey. The white belt, the beginning, pure and unmarked. The black belt, not the end, but the start of true mastery. And the higher Dan ranks, awarded not for victory in combat, but for contributions to the art, the community, and the preservation of tradition. At its heart, Karate-Do is about much more than fighting. It is about humility, respect, and the relentless pursuit of bettering oneself. Today, more than 100 million people practice karate across the globe. It is an Olympic sport, a cultural treasure, and a personal path of growth for millions of children and adults alike. From the alleys of Okinawa, to the tatami mats of Tokyo, to the streets of New York and London, karate has become truly universal. It has survived war, suppression, commercialization, and criticism. And yet at its heart, it is still the same. A single strike, a single breath, a single moment of truth. Karate is not just a martial art. It is a way of life, a journey of sweat, spirit, and endless pursuit of mastery. But in the story of martial arts, the empty hand is not alone. For just across the sea, another Japanese art was rising, one that would turn the strength of the opponent against themselves. The gentle way of judo. The story of karate is told through its masters, Gichin Funakoshi, who spread karate to Japan and planted its roots in the modern world. Maz Oyama, who built Kyokushin with blood, sweat, and bare-knuckle challenge matches. Chojun Miyagi, Kenwa Mabuni, Hironori Otsuka, the guardians of tradition. This is March Through History. Subscribe for more stories of warriors, weapons, and the world they fought in.